development doesn't just depend on. A lot of times we think, oh, let's just overthrow the constitution. Oh, let's just have a referendum. Oh, let's the president do this. They are different. You know, I listened to somebody who said a country doesn't develop just by one person doing one big thing. A country develops by a lot of people doing a lot of different things. So the media will focus on the right issues. The executive will prioritize on the basis of the vision they have. The judiciary will interpret the constitution in a more progressive way. The legislator will put the people ahead of themselves. Do you understand me? So when all of us start doing that, then we progress. We tend to think that in Ghana, oh, the media is not doing the right thing. Let's do media. Then tomorrow, the parliamentarians are the bad. Let's do that. Next week, the president is the bad. It's like, it doesn't work like that. For this one issue, you can even have somebody appointed on the Monuments Commission who say, you know what, for us on this committee, even though the president appointed us, we will do a job that will satisfy the next generation. So that group alone, okay, so you need a lot of different people, which is why I tend to go to soft issues. When it comes to development, it's the way the people think that matters. It's not what's written in the constitution alone. Because you can have two different presidents interpreting the same constitution differently. We all know that the way the constitution was written, Rawlings was a reluctant Democrat. He wasn't really interested in just giving power to the Democrat. He said it many times. I'm not the one saying it. So they wrote the constitution in a certain way to make him feel comfortable. But the way Mills will implement it should not be the same way Rawlings will implement it. And obviously not the way Kufuor will implement it. Do you understand? Because they are coming from different. So if they say, oh, and this is a problem in Ghana, once people come to power, they tend to say, oh, this is not such a bad idea after all. You know? When they're in opposition, it's like, how can you do this? It's so bad. The government is. When they come to power, it's like, you know what? This bad. I think the people, they made some sense because it benefits them. So I go back to the soft issue. How committed are you to the people? What kind of mindset do you have towards the state? Okay. And something Constitution member said, which is very important. The Constitution has spawned a political class in its image. That's what it's done. It's created a group of people. And you know, anytime I interview a Ghanaian politician, when it comes to their privileges and rights, they go to the Constitution. When it comes to their duties and responsibilities, they go to the budget. Oh, we need this. The Constitution says we should do it. Why haven't you built the road? We don't have money. They don't say, oh, the Directorate Principle of State Policy says we should do this or that or the other. The Directorate Principle of State Policy are very clear in the way you should govern. They talk about how you must be judicious, you must be economical, you must be broad-based and inclusive. They say all of that. Okay, so when it suits them, they go to the letter of the Constitution that says we are entitled to this. But when you say, why aren't you delivering development? They say, oh, but you know, it's not absolute. We don't have money. So until the political class also start flipping that over to say, you know what, responsibility before right. The same way they demand us to say, don't say what your country can do for you, but what you can do for yourself. Let me flip that back to them. Stop looking at the privileges it gives you and then always give excuses for your responsibility. Place your responsibility first. Do you understand me? And I always say that leadership sends the signal. Look, I have said I support Hearts of Folk. So my kids like Hearts of Folk. They look at me, I wear the jersey, when Hearts wins, I'm rejoicing, and they say, you know what? If my dad, who is my hero, supports Hearts of Folk, Hearts must be a good team to support. So they all support Hearts of Folk. So I'm modeling behavior. I'm not saying support Hearts of Folk today, but then secretly, or I'm watching Kotoko and saying, Kotoko, you're a good side. Hey, Kotoko, fabulous. Then I say, support Hearts of Folk. I say, what's wrong with this man? So my words are good, but my actions are more important. It's the same thing. So we look at the leader's actions. That's why rhetoric alone cannot change behavior. So you can have a very eloquent leader whose actions betray his words. All right. So if you feel the people's behavior is not the way you want it, model it. Model that behavior by leading by example. So you say what? We will take a salary cut. We will all use simple cars, normal engine, no SUV unless you have to travel out of Accra from a carpool. Okay. We will travel business class and not first class. We will limit unnecessary travels and mean it. We will improve public transport and take action to bridge the gap between students in private school and public schools to a point where we will be proud to send our kids to these public schools. We will improve the ambulance system so all of us can get access to good health care. not fly ourselves abroad and leave the citizens to cater for themselves. You model that behavior. You don't just say it and then do something else. So that's why people become cynical. Citizens are not born to be cynics, right? A lot of people in Ghana will say to me, oh, you guys, there's too much cynicism, the people are difficult, they are indisciplined. Our leaders have, over the past 28 years, modeled a behavior that has created cynics out of citizens. All right? You don't attack the citizens for being cynical. You earn their trust by modeling good behavior. That's what you do. And I'm always saying actions speak louder than words. Because now we are in an over-communicated world. Everybody is speaking. Citizens don't know what to believe. Lead by example. And MPs shouldn't be angry when people criticize them for what they are doing. Why are people so upset that we are collecting car loans? Now, if you deal with that question, the man just give you the framework. Assess, build, create, deliver, evaluate. He just gave you a simple thing. Assess, why are Ghanaians talking so much about these things? Do proper research to understand the dimensions of the issue. Bring people together to create a new reality. Then you deliver it. It's a simple behavior. So if the government or the political elite think that the citizens' behavior is not right, the guy who left the studio just gave you a model. He called it ABCDE, free consultation. It's hard to do, but Cookie, I'm telling you. You know, somebody asked me recently, do I have hope for Ghana that things will change? And for the first time, I wasn't sure what to say. I wasn't sure what to say because I had to think about the question very carefully. And I said to the person, you know what? The kind of things that brings change to certain nations, we can't stand those things. Okay? Because we will not all be alive to tell the story. So when people talk about countries that they admire and say, oh, in this country, the leaders are this, people had to die for those things to happen. And I don't know if Ghanaians can pay that price. And whether the change that would bring will even be the change we wanted. So I said to the person two things. Even the current crop of leaders we have and the current crop of citizens we have, hope is not lost if people will begin to lead by example. All right? And I said, we only hope that we get a leader or a group of leaders who put the country first. That's all it takes. It's a small shift, but it has significant, you see, because immediately you put the country first, every situation has a different way of evaluation. If that's, yesterday I was talking to some people who said, I asked them, how do you address problems? They said, we have a vision for a company. So every problem we face, we go back to the vision and say, the purpose of the company is to do ABCD. So you say, so what does that mean for this problem? Do you understand? But they are saying their guiding principle is that we are improving some people's life. Some nice thing. So if, for example, put Ghana first, it's not just a slogan, but it's actually what drives the way we lead. There are lots of things the president has to tell you. Do you understand? If you are an MC for a place and we are running with a put Ghana first agenda, if you have a situation to answer, you don't even need to call anybody at Flagstaff out. Say, you said we should put Ghana first, so that's why I did it. Do you understand? It's very simple. But that's where leadership comes in, because leadership makes vision clear, and the leader acts by making decisions that show that he's putting Ghana first. So he empowers people. So if the regional minister down goes and says, look, I'm going to do this, why are you doing it? I'm putting Ghana first, not party first, not family first. It sounds very simple to say. Trust me, it's a small change, but significant results will change. So I'm appealing to our political elite. Put Ghana first. Put the future first. Not just your family or your friends. Put the future of the country first in everything you decide. If you did that, I'm telling you, we will respond.